right guys, today I'm going to be showing you how to tie my favorite tie knot, the double four in hand. Now, so step one is to cross the wide end over the narrow end, then bring the wide end behind and wrap it around. Now, as you make this first loop, it's important that you keep your finger inside of the wrap. Next, you're going to bring the wide end behind one more time and then wrap it around again. Now, the coolest thing about this tie knot, in my opinion, is when you see people wearing it, you can actually see the double wrap. And the way you achieve this effect is when you bring the tie over for the second time, you leave a little bit of the first wrap showing. Next, you're going to bring the wide end up and over. And then, while you're holding the two loops that you've made, thread the tie through. I always like to keep it straight as I pull it through because that helps make a great dimple. So tighten the knot, adjust it, and that is how it's done.
Okay, so here we are for a second time. I've got my collar popped. I'm checking the length of where this tie lines. Every tie is going to be a little bit different. And then I'm pulling it, crossing the long blade over the front, pinching, taking it up, back, around. Again, I'm pinching the tie to keep it together, making sure everything's flat, up, through the top, down the loop. And again, here it's very important to getting the dimple. I'm checking to make sure that this is lying flat. If it's wrinkled or folded over, you won't get a nice dimple. Then I'm holding the short blade with my fingers, the long blade with just my index finger, and I'm going to pull that tight, okay? Now here is another trick to getting a nice tight knot. Again, hold your blade and then take your two index fingers over the knot and then pull it down, right? So I like to, again, pull on this and then cinch that nice and tight. I'm going to take this up. There we go. Perfect tie knot. Old Bertie with a beautiful tie dimple. So I'm going to finish with just a few key takeaways about tying a beautiful tie knot. First, don't be afraid to be rough on your tie. If you've purchased a high quality tie, like our Kirby Allison sovereign grade ties that have really high quality linings, you can tug and you can pull and you can play around with that knot to really get it perfect without having to worry at all about ruining the tie or changing the shape. The second thing is that a properly tied tie knot really should have a beautiful dimple, and this is worth practicing. The key, the secret to this is before you pull this knot tight, to make sure that that long blade is lying flat, and then just using your index fingers, your thumb, holding this tight and then really pulling down, because it's the pressure of you pulling that tie through the knot at this single point that really causes that beautiful knot to form. Once you've got it tight, feel free to play around with it. I mean, I do that throughout the day. You can play around with the knot if it's too flat or something. I mean, again, Don't be afraid to play around with that. And then, you know, practice. I mean, it takes a little bit of time to get a perfect tie knot, to learn a new knot. But once you do that, you'll absolutely be setting yourself apart, and you can be a part of the old Bertie Club, you and me tying one of the least known but most beautiful tie knots that's out there. I'm Kirby Allison, and we love to help the well-dressed acquire and care for their wardrobes. Thanks for joining me.